Hello and welcome back to the Flat Chat. It's me, Callum, and today I am the host of this video. Usually what we do is we do talk about all things football, tends to be the English Premier League, but of course we are Scottish, and there's bound to be a couple of Celtic or Rangers fans within our team. So yeah, of course there is a massive game at the weekend. Celtic do play against Rangers, and of course I have a Celtic and Rangers fan with me. I have, of course, on my left, massive Rangers fans, of course, has gone through a lot of hurt in the last 10 years or so.
Self-inflicted.
And of course a lot of heart this year when they did make it to the final. And of course that is Heggie. He is the massive Rangers fan here. And representing Celtic, massive Celtic fan, of course. Goes to the games with his mum, and he's got his Celtic play posters all over his wall. Massive Celtic fan, of course. Aaron.
What's up?
So yes, we're just going to do a wee face-off here, ask a few questions, and see what the boys think. Have a wee debate, and then we'll see who comes out on top.
A wee debate when it comes to Celtic Rangers and that as well. That's
just we saw the one with you and Stu. That got a bit heated. I don't know if I think Heggie might be a bit more level-headed here.
He might be, yeah.
We'll have a wee look.
I don't know if that says more about me or Stu, to be honest.
I was going to say, but
to be fair, it was Aaron that got heated.
Yeah.
What Stu was saying.
I just should calm down over there.
Yeah,
well, you're lucky you don't have any long hair accent.
There we go. So anyway, first question. It's not one of the cards here, but is this the old firm of the Glasgow Derby?
I'll let you go first, Aaron.
It's the Glasgow Derby, because as we all know, there was a certain event that happened to his club back in 2012 when they got found out for cheating on their taxes, and ergo the club that was Rangers, that is masquerading as Rangers now, plays at the same stadium, plays in the same tops. They died 10 years ago, and ever since it has been a club on the Rangers name that has been using that and claiming that they have won 55 titles in 10 years, which is an achievement that nobody can scarcely believe because they have won one title. So
there you go. And what is it you call us? Sevco?
Sevco, Zombies, there's other names that we call you that we probably can't say on here.
Yeah, I was going to say that. The names we call you, we definitely can't say on here.
Yeah, we can't. I can't say the name that we often give to these guys because one, will get demonetized, and two, someone will moan in the comments. So,
there you go. Well, it's obviously called the Old Firm because, you know, we aren't petty like you.
It's obviously called the Glasgow Derby because it is a derby in Glasgow.
Well, there you go.
There you get to see.
So you're not thinking of old firm? There's no more to it
obviously
there?
no fun. There's just no need to be petty here. That is the name of it.
There's a really need to do that, yeah.
Well, you are very petty. Not you personally, but your fan base. Points scoring over.
You have your own share of pettiness, I will say, as well.
So that is true.
But that's what makes this game like one of the best derbies in the world, because it's just the sheer pettiness of both sets of supporters. So it's
from my point of view, I obviously call it the old firm because that's what I've always known it to be. But I do understand your point, Aaron. I think you argued your point a little bit more than Heggie here. I think Heggie tried to not give away much there in that first question.
I was
saving himself for the rest.
For later.
Don't you worry, I'm doing the exact same thing.
So yeah, anyway, on to our next question. I'm actually going to talk to each of you about the opposing team. So for example, Aaron, on this question, I'm going to ask you, how do you think Rangers will do in the Champions League this year?
Of course, they got a particularly tricky group in comparison. They got three teams that are of really, really good quality. They get Ajax, they get Liverpool, and they get Napoli. Now, obviously, I'm going to be a bit bold in here, and not because I know everybody in the viewership wants to see violence and say, Rangers will finish fourth and everything else like that. But if we have to look at it, and we're talking about that group, we're talking about a group with a team that, other than Manchester City in England, has been part of the top two. You've got a team that's dominated Dutch football. You've got a team from Scotland that has made the Europa League final, in fairness to you. You did last year.
Thank you, Aaron. That's very big of you.
I mean, they don't want to talk about what happened after that, but don't worry, I probably will later on in the video. And they've got Napoli, who, obviously not the biggest team in Italy over the last couple of years, have definitely still got some decent players and decent quality that will hurt Rangers at this level, but there's no bad teams at this level. So if I was to be honest, I think Rangers will finish third in their group. I think Rangers.
That's fair enough.
I think it'll be Liverpool first, Ajax second, Rangers third, and Napoli fourth.
Excellent. Heggie, do you have anything to say to what Aaron said about Rangers there? I think it was perfectly fair.
I thought it was pretty fair there.
That's nice.
I'm also going to be fair. I think, going by recent records in Celtic's European history, I think they'll be doing very well to get 3 points.
Really?
I think
Really?
you might scrape a win versus Shakhtar at home, but then you will lose.
This man
at
said
the
he's
other
being fair.
That's fair. You've not won a European tie in 20 years.
A European tie, like we still won a Europa League group stage a few years back with more than 10 points, and we beat Lazio in that.
Yeah, it's really going to set the tone when you play Real Madrid first at home. If you can wangle your way to a point in that game, you might get 4.
If we can wangle anything after Real Madrid in that first game, I'm running laps around the entirety of Celtic Park.
No, let's be serious here. You should probably beat Shakhtar at home, and you should probably get a point away from home because they are not playing at home. They're playing in Poland.
They're playing at Legia Stadium.
Yeah. Leipzig versus you will be the shootout for second and third, realistically. And Rangers beat Leipzig.
Recent times, Celtic have beat Leipzig as well.
They have, but Leipzig are definitely better now than they were.
Oh yeah, they're stronger now. They've got the likes of Werner back. We didn't face Werner when they played them.
Yeah.
We played them in 2018, so...
No, but I think it'll be Real Madrid will run away with it.
Oh yeah.
And then I personally think it'll be Leipzig, Celtic, Shakhtar. So I think you will also get to Europa League.
I think will you both be fairly happy with that?
I think we would be happier than they would.
Really? Because they've got an easier group?
Yeah, they've definitely got an easier group.
Right.
Oh yeah.
If Rangers were in that group, we would be expecting to get out of the group.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're not just both be happy with the European competition after in the new year. That's probably what you're aiming for, but second place or
that's a bonus.
That's a bonus. That'd be great to see as well.
Of course, it'd be good to see what one or both of the teams prove themselves in that as well, and actually get to the last 16 level because of that. Because obviously these guys they say, it's only for Rangers, but actually I'm a firm believer of the coefficient. So
So anyway, on to the next topic. Who has got the best stadium, the best atmosphere, the best fans? That sort of thing. What do you think?
This is probably the easiest question of the entire.
We'll start with Heggie for this one.
Yeah, right though. That is Ibrox.
It's just not though.
I mean, you play in a tin bowl.
You play in a car park.
No, we don't play in a car park. We play in a stadium.
You play in a stadium that is next to a car park,
Yeah.
and that's all there is to it. Whereas Celtic Park has been frequently lauded as one of the best atmospheres in Europe by former players, opposition fans. It's been recently voted by TripAdvisor as the best UK stadium by international
It was
fans.
also voted as one of the worst experiences to go to a game, and Ibrox was in the top 3 in the world.
Realistically, that's only because people want to moan about a pole in the away end. Like that is
not the full reason. There's so much that goes into it.
It's literally a meme at this point where it's like, oh, let's take a picture behind the Celtic Park pole and then complain that the back.
Sorry, I have to hear more about this. What do you mean? It's been voted the best stadium, but also the worst experience.
Atmosphere, all that they do get praised for.
So as fans of Celtic, would they not be happier with that than they would care about the other one?
It's not. It wasn't actually voted worst. It was voted below Rangers as whole experience, atmosphere, fan interaction, food, drink, just everything that goes into the stadium. And Ibrox was officially ranked higher than Parkhead.
I mean, obviously, in terms of experience is obviously different. Everybody's got their own taste in that as well. I wouldn't go out on a limb and say like Celtic Park has an amazing food experience, and that's going to the games and that as well. But at the same time, to sit there and to it's hard to explain that as well, because obviously in this debate we're naturally going to say your stadium. You're naturally going to say your stadium. I'm going to say my stadium.
But you cannot take away from the fact, if you just were a complete neutral and looked at both stadiums, yours looks a lot less expensive than ours because it is made out of tin.
I mean, I know this man comes in here with experts on how Celtic Park is made. It's also the area round about it. Look at the area round about Ibrox and you see one training park, a car park and some flat land. When you look at the area around Celtic Park, you see the Emirates Arena. you see the Celtic way, you see everything.
And you also see the Barras, one of the poorest areas in Glasgow.
That's just a matter of location. That's Celtic can't exactly. Celtic can't exactly help that other than move the stadium.
If you're talking about location, Rangers has an underground system next to it, which is highly accessible for people to get to the stadium. You don't have anything like that. You've only got one train station.
We'll have two coming up because of reopening Parkhead. So
well, you have one now.
We have one now, and there's been obviously in terms of like the underground, obviously the Glasgow subway that as well. For those of you that maybe watching outside Glasgow that don't know what that is, I'll grant you that they've got the subway, but it's not as if you're talking about it as if Celtic Park's this inaccessible haven in the middle of.
Obviously it isn't, but Ibrox is more accessible. It is a better looking stadium. It has a better atmosphere. It is the best stadium.
It also has the subway there handy for all the fans that leave early, called Subway Loyal.
Anyway, you're splitting hairs here, really, aren't you? They're both great stadiums. I think both. I probably would admit as well, they're probably greater stadiums than any of the ones down in England. Obviously, being an Arsenal fan, I do think. I think the Emirates is probably a nicer stadium to look at.
Those ones, it's a lot newer.
It's a lot newer.
I think my point of view, from what I've gathered here, you both get great atmospheres. Of course, you do.
Yeah,
your fans are amazing.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
From the outside, I think looking at Ibrox, I think it's better looking from the outside. I think when you're in the stadium, though, my preference is I prefer looking at Parkhead. I have been to Ibrox before. I've not been to Parkhead. So that maybe is a wee bit unfair, but at the same time, I do think you get a nicer stadium from the inside. That's my take. But I am the host, and you too.
To be fair, that's not an unfair take.
Yeah. So anyway, on to the next one. I think this one will be also a wee bit spicy. Your current combined 11.
Oh, that's going to be very good. Now, again, like obviously,
how are we doing this defence first?
I think start goalkeeper.
Right. I think we might have the same goalkeeper here.
Who is your goalkeeper?
I've got Joe Hart.
I've got Joe Hart.
It's pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah, Joe Hart.
I think McGregor's obviously not your number one anymore. McLaughlin is great, but he's not.
McLaughlin's not really settled in yet as Rangers is number one.
Yeah.
And Joe Hart, we're saying, just a really good goalkeeper.
He just is, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, back four, Lago.
You can go, yeah.
I think, don't we just start with it? We're going back fours, so I think just start with our right back.
Right back is obviously Tavernier.
I have got Juranovic. Tavernier is held up by the fact that he can score a penalty kick and a free kick once every couple of games. That's it. Whereas Juranovic, for me, is a better all-round fullback. He's got goals in his game that aren't penalties. Like he scored a pretty decent goal the other night against Dundee United.
Tavernier has 100% scored more open play goals than Juranovic.
That's also Tavernier has been at Rangers longer than Juranovic has been at Celtic.
Even in the last season
again, Juranovic has only been at Celtic for about a year.
Well, and within the last season, Tavernier has definitely scored more open play goals than Juranovic.
Obviously, we could sit here.
Right.
At the end of the day, they're both right backs.
I find it really hard to argue this one because it is that dumb. Tavernier is so good.
He is good. He is good. Like, I'll give you that. But obviously,
he's better in there than Juranovic. He's quicker than Juranovic. He's better at defending than Juranovic. He's better at passing than Juranovic.
I was going to say least amount of goals conceded this season.
Yeah.
We've only conceded 2 goals.
I'll do a step on you, Aaron. On that point, that means you're just going to have your full defence. Would be Celtic. This individual player, Tavernier is also, I think, for this one, maybe you mentioned he's also captain. Is that a big thing that comes into it? But when Juranovic, like, what does he offer other than the occasional goal? Is he going to score more than... What's he better at than Tavernier?
He's a better all-round fullback than Tavernier is.
And what does that include?
Basically, that includes a combination of attacking and defending. Tavernier, I'll grant you, is very good going forward. Very good going forward. But in terms of defence, even you can't really deny he is a bit ropey sometimes.
He used to be ropey. He's been much better in recent years.
He's obviously improved in that as well, whereas Juranovic, for me, offers just as good an attacking threat as Tavernier does to Rangers' system. He's also, in my opinion, a better defender.
Okay. Well, okay. So are you both going to not agree? Is there any way each of you is going to change your opinion?
Absolute 0%.
Absolute 0% chance on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave that one into the comments because I'm not going to give my opinion on this one because I'll leave that for the comments. I think, Aaron, in my opinion, I think you might lose this one. But I'll let them
They
decide.
might
Okay,
win one in the future.
this might not be the one.
I mean, we will win a league.
So I said I would give my opinion. I kind of did. On to your centre backs. We'll get the two. Eggy, we'll start with you.
Goldson and Sands.
What? Are you joking?
No?
I was going to say Goldson and Carter Vickers.
Right, well. So you do have Goldson.
I do have
So
Goldson.
Goldson's a lock.
I want
let's
to
co-
Goldson.
let's
Yeah.
compare Sands and Carter Vickers. How many appearances does yours have for America? How many does it have? I believe it has 4, and I believe Sands has 9.
I was going to say
in the last 2 years.
Let's be frank. Carter Vickers is more likely to be going to the World Cup than Sands.
No chance. Sands has played 9 games in the last 2 years for America, and he wasn't playing for Rangers. Our reserve centre back was in a game ahead of your first choice centre back.
Sands was playing in the MLS, whereas Cameron Carter Vickers wasn't even getting any remote game time at Tottenham. Whereas when he's been at Celtic, he's getting far more game time in the US system.
No, that's what I'm saying to you. He's not. Sands has played more games for America when he was on our bench than your starting centre back.
And you look at US, obviously whenever their games are on, you see their Twitter constantly going on all the time. Why isn't Carter Vickers starting?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Carter Vickers was English, so I don't know.
He's English born, but he's got but I think.
When did he start playing for America?
I think it was.
It was very young.
Fairly young,
Okay, so there's no even an argument there, right?
But I think it's obviously during the
So
I think Sands has been our best player this season so far. I think he's just been that good. I think he's very good on the ball. I think people underestimate how quick he is, and he's very good in there as well for someone as small as he is. But Carter Vickers did have a very good season last. This was a hard one.
I was going to say like. I do agree on certain aspects. I do, in terms of as much as you can actually like a player that plays for your rivals. If it was just watched as a neutral, I do like Sands. I do think he's got a lot of good attributes in that as well. But at the same time, I cannot see a scenario for my head where he gets in over Carter Vickers based off the season that he had last year. Conceded the least amount of goals in the league. We've only conceded 1 goal in the league this season so far. And he's been a big part.
You haven't played Diddy's so far though.
So have you, but he's dropped 2 points.
The drop points because of a shoddy refereeing performance.
Did you play
Hearts?
Hearts?
But Hearts played
We
the
played
reserve team.
Hearts and Aberdeen.
Hearts played the reserve team because they had their biggest game in their
To
history
be fair,
in the
I'm
first.
not gonna lie, guys. You play Diddy's every week. Let's be real here. I don't know what that guy.
Celtic Premier League fans.
We will see on Saturday.
We will.
Exactly. So in this one, I don't think either of you are going to change.
No, I'm not changing. No chance.
Right, and then now left back is easy. It is Barisic.
It's Greg Taylor.
Right, we've had this argument before.
Greg
Taylor is a wee boy.
Greg Taylor arguably is the most improved player in the league.
But if you're pish and you're improved, you might still be pish.
I was gonna.
Because you've been improved.
Barisic has nightmares of Lila Bada ghosting in behind him.
Aaron, you've said about this game multiple times.
It's because it's the game that won us the league last year.
That game didn't win you the league. You won the league because we were inconsistent throughout the season because we focused on Europe.
He's only saying the league doesn't matter when he's inevitably in Europe.
It does matter, but we were inconsistent.
Not according to your fans, it didn't. Whenever Celtic won the league, it's like we were in Europe anyway, so it doesn't count.
Right, okay.
Anyway, so you sticking definitely with Taylor?
I'm sticking with Taylor.
Sticking with Barisic? Yeah. Right, okay, so the comments, you're going to have to answer every single one. I don't think anyone's going to change their minds on this one. It does show how passionate Celtic and Rangers fans are about their club.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to the midfield. What have we sort of done? Have we had...
I've got 2 holders.
I've got 2 holders as well.
It's very easy. It's McGregor and Lundstrom.
Yes, I agree with that. I don't think there's
nothing really more to say there.
There's nothing really.
There's no other holders it can be.
There's nothing really.
Other than Kamara, maybe. I think McGregor is slightly better.
I was going to say, like, obviously in terms of like being serious in that as well, like Lundstrom would do a job in the Celtic team at the moment. He's exactly the kind of defender that I think. Sort of like the holding mid that Celtic really need. Obviously, as this video is going out, we are signing a holding mid, and I don't know what like he's going to be. But obviously, but in terms of right now, he's not played a game for Celtic yet, whereas Lundstrom's played loads more side for Rangers, and he's obviously
pretty simple. So I'm glad we can agree on that one as well. So we've agreed on those 2.
Yes,
we've agreed on Hart and we've agreed on Goldson. So we're going to move on to the attacking players, I guess. What have we done here then?
I've really mixed it up a wee bit here.
What have you got? What sort of formation you got then?
I've got like 2 central attackers and 2 wide attackers.
I was going to say, I've gone for...
But both of them are left wingers. I'm playing one on the right.
Ooh.
I've got Jota on the right and I've got Kent on the left.
So what formation is this?
No, it's like 4-4-2.
Right, okay.
Right, I've gone for the sort of 4-2-3-1 kind of thing.
Right,
4-2-3-1.
Now, do you have 2 wide players?
I've got 2 wide players.
Who's your 2 wide players?
I have got Abada and I've got Jota for us, because their stats from last season and even now speak for themselves. I think.
Right,
But
right,
obviously,
right.
in terms, obviously a bit less Abadas than Jota's. Jota's had a really good start to the
Do
season.
you really think Abada is better than Ryan Kent?
Yes, I do.
Based on what? He's like your 5th choice attacker, Aaron.
That just goes to show you the amount of depth that
So why do you not have Giacomakis or...
First of all, Giacomakis is the striker. And we're talking about wide players.
But why do you not have Maeda in there? He also plays wide. Is he not better than Abada?
I was getting not better in terms of goal scoring threat than Maeda. Maeda's a fantastic player. He's a pressing machine. He's genuinely got a level of energy that I haven't seen a Celtic player for ages.
Ryan Kent is a better player than Abada.
That's just not true.
He's been unbelievable for Rangers across 6
I do have to nip in here. Aaron, did you not have Ryan Kent in your all-time great 6i?
He did.
And that was because I didn't know any of his team's players that played in the position that I needed, and he was sort of...
That's all we're willing to say. Aaron has Ryan Kent in his world 11.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's probably the closest thing to a Rangers legend in your 10 years of existence, so...
there you go. So, I think you're gonna... So what have you said again?
He said...
I said Jota and Kent.
Right, okay, Jota and Kent.
I've went Jota and Abada for the 2 wides on that one.
Right, okay, and there's no way of changing either of your minds?
I think I'm incredibly fair there putting Jota in.
I think you're being very fair.
I think you're being incredibly petty not putting Kent in.
I just don't see what he's done over the last couple of seasons that says he's better than what Leo Abada did last season. Like Leo Abada went quietly as one of the biggest goal contributors for Celtic last season.
Okay.
Fair enough. So we're not going to get we're never getting a change.
No.
Change of
You're
mind.
not getting a change
I don't
of
know
mind,
what I'm trying
but-
to get here, but fair enough. Comments again.
This next one's going to be.
So yeah,
And you've got 2
you've got 2 straight up strikers, and you've got a striker and someone sitting behind him.
I've got someone sitting behind him, and I've got the 1 striker.
Okay, Adam, we'll start with you then.
I've actually got Tom Lawrence in behind, which I think is fair because I do like Tom Lawrence. I like him as a player. He's got a good level of energy for him, and obviously I think a lot of people in our support kind of said, "Oh, he's come up from Derby, like he's getting on a little bit. He's not going to do that much." He's actually been a really good player for all the minutes that I've seen of him, in terms of watching on highlights and sports, seeing that as well. You frequently see him at the forefront of what Rangers are trying to do, which I can obviously respect.
I don't even think he's the best player in that position for Rangers. I think Tillman's better.
Obviously, you'll know that better than me. Obviously,
I would also agree with that.
That's fair. But just based off my opinion, I do like Tom Lawrence in that.
Thank you, Alan, though, for putting a Rangers player in. I really do appreciate it.
I was going to say thank you for putting it in.
So Aaron, can you go on to your other player?
In terms of striker, there is only one man that's up there on top for me. It's Kyogo Furuhashi.
Okay.
26 goals, 30 appearances for Celtic. When he's fit, he's frequently one of the best strikers I've seen.
Just remember what you just said there. When he is fit.
But he's only had 1 injury spell in that as well.
It was a bad one though.
It was a bad one, but you even saw it in the highlights as well. If Kyogo had stayed fit, he could have bagged 35, 40 goals.
But he didn't.
He didn't. Obviously, he didn't. But in terms of that as well, obviously, when you look at who you're comparing it to in our setup, look at Giacomakis, who in his own right's a great player. And it was hard to pick between the 2 of them, and obviously you'll probably pick Kolak in that as well for yours.
Thanks for telling me who I'm picking.
So we move on to what Heggie's got, and then you can hear what you've got. What have you got?
I've got 2 answers here. I'm going to be fair. If we're talking about right this very second, it is Kyogo and Cholak. But if we're talking about overall, it's Morelos and Cholak.
No, I don't think so.
It is. Morelos has been the most clinical striker in Scottish football for the last 7 years.
I was going to say, has not performed against Celtic, 1 goal.
It's against yous, who cares? Yous are wrong.
Yous evidently do care. That's why we're making this video, of course.
No,
it's kind of done you.
I was banning him up. No, Cholak as well. He's scored a goal a game so far. He is unbelievably clinical. And I will give you, Kyogo has been good this season. So if we're doing it right now, he is in.
Obviously you've gone for a different system than I have.
Yeah,
So
would we, obviously, because this is a combined team, are we able to try and change it so that we do change to either a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1?
Get Lawrence out.
So we'll leave Lawrence. Move Lawrence, and who would you bring in if you're gonna? Would you be able to maybe change to a 4-2-3-1, or would you rather go?
No,
for
I would take.
if I was 4-4-2 if he takes Lawrence out and puts Cholak.
If I was changing that,
But
I would
similarly, if you took a striker out and put in, and say a Tillman or something, would we have a more?
I was going to say,
would you rather do 4-4-2?
it'd be a lot easier for me to take Lawrence out and just keep McGregor and Lundstrom as the two centre mids, Abad and Jota, and then move in another striker.
Is that what we're going to do? Who would you put in? So you've got Kyogo. Who's your other striker then?
It would probably be Kolak, yeah. But mainly because we've not seen enough of Giakoumakis yet this season.
So there's no Morelos at all?
No Morelos at all.
Right.
This season has clearly. First of all, he clearly wants out of Rangers.
No, he doesn't. He's said to Rangers last week he wants to stay.
I mean, he'll say that now, but that's because
you're a mind reader now, Aaron. You can read the players' minds.
He's not had a serious offer for a move, and that's why he's gone. All right, I'll just stick to Rangers for the last year of my contract.
Right, fair enough. So
if I had to push and be fair to Aaron, my combined 11 would be Hart, Tavernier has to stay, Goldson has to stay. I would concede Sands if it made Aaron happy. Give him Carter Vickers. Barisic has to stay.
No.
McGregor, Lundstrom both have to stay.
I'll grant you that, yeah.
Jota, Kyogo, Cholak and Kent.
Aaron, what do you think about what he's just said there? What's the biggest problem with what he's just said, first of all? If you've got any.
I was going to say, based off historical performances, I'm willing to concede Barisic.
Not Tavernier.
It's tricky for me in that as well. Obviously, I do genuinely think Juranovic is a better all-round right back than Tavernier.
There's no point in us even arguing.
Yeah, so we're going to concede that. So we've not got a combined team because unfortunately we've got about 15 players.
We've got 10 players and then Aaron doesn't want to concede.
So
potentially our best
of course, commenting below what you think about that. Finally, we don't have a tip team, but we'll move on. But what will the score be on Saturday? Is it Saturday, isn't it?
Saturday, it's Saturday.
What will the score be on Saturday?
3-1 Celtic.
Rates, Peggy?
I think it'll be 2-1 Rangers.
Okay.
This is at Parkhead, right?
This is Celtic Park, yeah.
Oof, okay.
I think it'll be a case of Kolak scoring and that as well. Kolak will score, but Celtic will get to a point where either they've already scored 3 goals by that point and it would be a consolation. or Kolak will score first and that'll wake Celtic up.
Okay.
I think Celtic will be incredibly complacent. They have played nobody this season and they think they are world beaters. Rangers have played stiff competition so far. We've went away to PSV, we've won. We've played PSV.
European game doesn't really equate.
It does come into the. You don't play what's against you.
You have played Diddy's, that is the truth. You played against a Dundee United team who lay down to you, who had lost 7-0 the previous week.
Again, Celtic can only beat who's in front.
Yes, I know, but you're going to be too cocky. You're going to be too confident.
And will not let the team be too cocky.
Well, let's hope for your sake. But in my opinion, they will be.
Well, I don't believe that. I think watching Celtic, they're not, in terms of a cocky team, they're not a cocky team. They believe in themselves, they believe in the attacking philosophy and they believe in what Andrew's trying to do. But cocky, no. And also we've got Callum McGregor in there who will instill the fear of God into those guys, saying, "Look, you cannot underestimate Rangers. We're at home." But it's Rangers, they will go for it. It's a Celtic Rangers game.
Yeah.
Nah, it's going to be who turns up on the day. And right now, I've got far more confidence that Celtic will turn up on the day than Rangers.
Well, at Celtic Park as well, though, Rangers have a better record against Celtic Park than Celtic do over the last 2 seasons. And that's just a fact. We've won 2, you've won 1, and we've drew 1.
I was going to say, Rangers haven't beat Celtic over a 90-minute period since... God, when was it?
We beat you last season over 90 minutes. Hollander scored the winner.
But since Ibrox and that as well, last 4 games you haven't beaten us over 90 minutes. You needed extra time to beat us at Hampden.
We did beat you though. We did show more heart than you did.
You conceded a goal. You conceded a
literally-
goal to Greg Taylor.
you-
Under your own rules, that's embarrassing.
Well, if you're criticising Greg Taylor, then probably Barisic should be in the combined 11.
I was gonna say I'm not criticising Taylor. I'm just using your basic logic, saying, oh, like you don't put Greg Taylor in, you conceded a goal to him.
Right. Anyway, that's what we think then. So 3-1 to Celtic,
3-1
and 2-1 to Rangers. Any final comments, or is that as wrapped up?
I think I'm fine with pretty much saying what we need to.
Excellent.
I think we got.
That was tough. That was tough.
It was a tricky video.
So anyway, as I said before, comment down below your combined 11. What's the score going to be as well? And yeah, of course, like and subscribe. Until next time, thank you.
Of course.